Hey, this is my first, I guess you can call it episode or just letting you know a little bit about me, some origin, the start of where everything is gonna go, and just so you get a first insight of current situation. So, right now, where I'm trying to get to is to a state of being completely independent, where I have my time, financial freedom, and to live the life that I want to live. And I've been on this journey now for 6 years or so. And throughout all of this, I've learned a lot of things. So, just kind of give you a little idea right now. I'm fresh from now leaving the company that I helped build, which was Pro Bodies Fitness. Been a part of that for 6 years. We've had a lot of ups and downs, and throughout all that, there was a learning period that I've had to go through in order for me to get to where I'm at today. So today, just so you have so you have some background information. The business is closed. I'm no longer affiliated with it. I am bankrupt from the standpoint of there's no income coming in from there. There's no income that I can pay out, and I owe a lot. So that's where I'm currently at. Right now, trying to find out how to pay bills, eat, gas, just the regular things that you need to live off of are coming very hard. But I do know that I'm supposed to be in this situation because I know that there's something greater for me to do. So the whole gym business was not a failure per se, but it was a learning experience to get me to where I'm at right now. I still have a passion to serve others, and I still have a passion to want to help others. And that's the reason why I felt like that door is closed, because now it gives me the opportunity to do something different. The gym business became a distraction. And out of this last year, 2019, it just could no longer be sustained. We've had multiple gyms that me and Brian Franklin have opened up, and now we've shut down. We made a lot of money, and now we've lost a lot of money. So the point I'm trying to get to with that is that it doesn't matter where your starting point is, but you have a starting point. And the failures that you've had aren't failures because they're learning lessons as long as you apply them. So number one is just always apply what you've taken in the past and make sure that you don't do that again so you can learn from it and build from it. That's where growth happens. This is completely uncomfortable for me. I don't like to do it, but I know in the uncomfortability of it, that's where the growth is happening. So I'm putting myself out there to do that. First thing is to share my story. So that's where I'm at right now. The thing that's kind of like been peace for me throughout all the bad stuff that's happening with the closing of the gyms is that now I'm able to see things a lot clearer. I have like blinders on because I want to be able to do my next thing. The next thing is now to help not only myself, but help other people who are in the same position. I've recently had communication with my dad who wants to get a book line going. I've had communication with other people I've met throughout the gym and throughout church who have other ideas that they want to get with their business going, and they don't know the know-how to. And I've learned a lot of the know-how throughout the last 6 years in the gym. So first thing that everybody was kind of telling me is tell your story. And for me, telling my story, I'm kind of like, no, I don't want to be in the light. I don't like to be the focal point. I like to be in the back working. But the story needs to be told. That's the first thing, because the story is told, you're able to have confidence, build trust, and then the most important thing, have belief in where you're going to go. So belief is where I feel with faith, knowing that I can get to where I need to go, and therefore anybody who's watching this, you can get to where you need to go too. If you don't have that, then your mindset's all jacked up and you're not going to be where you want to be. You'll stay in that current state. And this thing is, it's exciting. It's opened up a lot of kind of new doors for me. It's very scary and risky, but you know what? Some of those greater things in life that you have to do is going to require risk. The risk is going to be something that's going to be inevitable, and change is going to be inevitable. And in this case, that's my change. So whenever you get to watch this and you get to see where it all began, you can notice and watch the changes as the next several videos come out, my journey, and therefore hopefully it inspires you and motivates you to be on yours. So that's kind of where I'm starting out. And you know, the big thing is why I even got in the gym business in the first place is because I was having a tough time personally with finances, and I just wanted to have money. Like, I wanted to make money, and I knew the best thing I could do is do something I enjoyed. One of the lessons I learned as a kid, my dad used to tell me is, you know, if you do something that you enjoy, money will follow it. And I did. And the thing about it is that I was just only satisfying an external thing. I never really made the internal thing. So the external thing is I just wanted to make money. I just wanted to have a lot of money so I could do the things that, people with money do. I did make the money, but it also was at a huge cost. I've lost a lot of good relationships. I've lost a lot of good people who meant something to me, and I lost a lot of time. And those things you can't get back. So having the money is one thing, but it never fulfilled the internal problem that I had, why I wanted the money. The money was so I can be around the people who mattered to me, create the relationships that I want to have, and then also allow me to have that time to build and spend with them. So money was the external thing, but the internal thing was just to make sure I had money so I could spend time with the people that mattered the most. If you have time, then you have the most precious thing that's available. So I got in the business for that. Didn't do it successfully in that aspect, but what I did learn is how I could do it better. Now that I don't have the job at the gym and I'm working for myself completely and doing the setup so I can get to where I am consulting and helping others get off the ground just similar to I am. These things are now going to be something that you'll be able to go back on, reflect on, tell your story with. So those were my desires back then. My desires now are still the same. I want to be able to still, make the money that I need to make, but to make the money so I can have the quality of life that I want to have, so I can have the time that I want to have, and spend that time with the people who matter the most to me. So those desires have not changed. The wall that I was in, though, and this is kind of like. This was my barrier. This was the block that wouldn't allow me to get over to over that hurdle or over that barrier, whatever. While I was making money, I was spending most of my time traveling from one gym to the next, dealing with client issues, dealing with employee issues, dealing with stuff that literally just took me out of being at home or spending time with the people who mattered, because I couldn't get to them. I couldn't talk to them. I was always busy. I couldn't do this and that. So ultimately, it just tore me apart. It took so much me out of me that I didn't know who me was anymore. And the thing that I even got in the gym business first was because I enjoyed doing it, but I also enjoyed helping others. But at some point it turned to helping myself or helping the cause for the wrong reasons. And once that started happening, I noticed everything started falling apart, hence the reason why the business crumbled. There was a new kind of, path that was already being laid for me by the preparations that's happened throughout the gym. And I was just too blinded by the fact of me trying to do it Scott's way to get to the goal. Now that all that has been, made me hit rock bottom and those distractions are gone, I have the clarity now that I need to go to the next thing. And I had to jump out of one kind of vehicle, hit that wall, crash it, burn it, then jump out of something else, and now I have a different opportunity. Without me going through that, which is quote unquote the failure, or also how I like to put it as my lesson learned, which is going to be my greatest triumph, is to know when to jump out of it. A lot of times in business, if you stay in it too long, you'll run the thing down to the ground, and ultimately you'll lose yourself in it too. But if you know when to get out, and you know how to take the things that you've learned and applied from it and move to the next thing, that'll be one of the greatest things that you can ever acquire throughout this process. So my current opportunities now, again, is to help others to do what I'm actually doing right now, because I know that there's a need for it. And I like to look at everything that I do is solving a problem. And if I provide the solution for it, then I'm able to stay excited about it. But it also gives me that sense of helping others, because I still like to help and serve others as well. So that was kind of like my big, I'm glad that the gym ended. I'm glad that the business that I was previously in had come to a close, because when that happened, every day I was dreading it. Man, how do I got to tell these people? How am I going to tell the clients? How am I going to tell the employees? What am I going to do? I had no idea. And I was just in that complete emotional state of, what's next, what's next, what's next. And I was just knowing that, God had a different path for me and a different plan for me. And as soon as I got a tip to check Russell Brunson's ClickFunnels, he told me to invest in the 30-day challenge and just to do everything day by day. Well, I was like, that sounds easy enough. but the fact is it cost $100, and $100 it's not a big deal, or it didn't used to be a big deal, but I knew $100 at the time was going to be deciding if I was going to get gas for that week or food or whatever. So I made the initial investment, and I just kind of stayed in the home. Like, I didn't go anywhere and just ate bad food, cheap food. So I made the investment. It came in, and I hopped in the challenge, and I was looking at the stuff that he was saying, which made sense, which ultimately I've been doing in my business for years now. I just didn't have it as a label. And I've been, for the most part, ClickFunnels my whole entire experience. But the thing that I took from that is that, this process is out there. It's just getting the message across and communicating it correctly. And that kind of bridges the gap. So when I got to the point of knowing that I'm going to make an investment for something that's going to potentially help me, and I just started listening to a lot of the stuff that was said throughout those messages, one thing they said was, tell your story, tell your story, tell your story. Parents have been telling me that, business partner told me that, but I never did. And one of the things in the Facebook group, and that Russell used to keep saying, is that you can't move on to the next step until you complete this one task. Well, me being me, I just figured, like, hey, I don't need to. I'm going to go my own way. And one of the things I used to preach myself, especially to the clients and things in the past, is that, you got to FTDI, and it means follow the damn instructions. If you FTDI and just do what's said, life is so much simpler. So I didn't want to overcomplicate it, and I just took my own advice. That's the reason why I'm on this video. I took my own advice, and I stopped just bypassing what Russell was talking about and what the people were doing in the group, and I actually started doing it myself. And I noticed that, the more that I actually did it, the more the things made sense, which then opened up a doorway for me to go out there and do what I'm doing right now and go talk to other people and start applying these things immediately. So I went out and I, met with a few people who had some ideas and who were trying to really figure out how to get their business going. Mindful that being in mind that I didn't even know how I was going to get my own business going, but I knew I could add some kind of benefit or value to it. And I just started upselling my abilities and what I could do, to the point to where now it's like, hey, we want you part of the team. And if you're interested in going along this path, definitely recommend ClickFunnels, because it'll show you how to upsell and all that. Create a better product or offer, create a better product or service by continuing to have offer that has a lot of value built into it. So once I started doing that, I realized that this is something I'm excited about. This is what I'm passionate about. This is what makes me want to do this even more, because I know that I could solve a problem and provide the solution, and then everybody's doing what they want to do, and then they get the same thing, because most people don't like to be at the job all day. Most people want to spend time with the family. Most people have the same desires, both internally and externally, that I have, and they want to get out of that life. And if there's something that I could do to help that situation, I feel like I'm winning, because I'm able to do what I enjoy, but also they're winning because now they're able to spend the time, and we can have a better society by doing that. So that was kind of the thing that woke me up, just like a light went off. I remember calling my dad, like, hey, this is what I'm going to do. Got out to like a Walmart at like midnight, grabbed all the materials that I need, and I just started brainstorming, put together a lot of different stuff. And if you can see the home, like, I have whiteboards all over the place with just ideas, and I needed to get these ideas out of here onto something that's tangible, so I can continue to make more space so I can go to the next thing. A lot of the things that I learned, especially in the gym, is that I used to do the implementation of a lot of systems and processes. And I used to want to learn the process so much thoroughly, so I knew it frontward or backward, that I was the person who had to repair it if something broke. And that made me the who. And instead of being the who, and also the how in a lot of situations, I just wanted to know people who knew how to do it, so I don't have to be that anymore. So I can network with this person, they can tell me how to do it, and then I can move on to the next thing, so it does not become a hang up and a roadblock. And also it gives me my time back too, because I don't want to do anything that's going to create me to be stuck in a situation because of one minor detail. Being hung up on the details is the biggest killer or distraction to where you're trying to go. So I started doing just reaching out to certain things that I need help with, and figuring out like there's a much easier way to do it May cost a little bit of time, may cost a little bit of money, but I get the return back. It's a lot more money back or a lot more time back, which is ultimately the best thing for you. It's a win-win on either side. So now that I've had the kind of like awakening moment, like I'm still trying to achieve those same things. I want to have more time. I want to have more desire, focus, and I want to be able to make sure that the kids have what they want. The relationships that I have, I want to make sure that they're of value and that I'm adding a benefit to their life. I know that there's going to be a lot of conflict on this journey, being that it's new, I can't even speak, new uncharted territory that I can't foresee yet. But there's going to be some hiccup. I mean, my biggest conflict right now, I would say, is having the capital to do a lot of the things that I need to do, yet trying to pay bills, rent, basic stuff here, and then also make sure I get the money for, to buy another month of Russell Brunson's ClickFunnels. So, I got a little bit of things right now that are just in the now moment conflicts, but going to look back at this in hindsight, these are going to be small things. So I'm just having the belief and the positivity to know that I can overcome this in the same way that you will be able to in your current situations. I mean, we can't always see past what's currently in front of us, and we feel that's the plague, that's the downside, that's the roadblock. But in reality, if you continue to push forward, you'll notice that these things that we're struggling on right now are not even going to be a big thing, and we can sit back and smile and enjoy it from the other side. So there will be achievement with this, but the biggest thing is that to see how you grow and transform throughout this whole process. I noticed that, when I was in the gym and I was working with the clients and seeing them go from day 1 to day 30 and seeing the transformations and seeing how they felt and the new life that they had, it was all based off of the work that they put in and the dedication. But they had the mindset, they had the coaches, they had the things that they needed, which were the right tools in order to be successful. I want to leverage myself as a tool for y'all so you could do that, because even the greatest of the greats still had somebody that they looked up to for inspiration or for coaching or for tips or whatever, and myself included. So the transformation that happens throughout that time, you'll look back and think, I'm glad that I took that last little bit of whatever to get to here, or I'm glad I didn't stop, or I'm glad that somebody told me to do this and I did this. Because one of the things too I've also learned throughout my life, and learned it from my dad, but your best thinking has gotten you to this point. And if you want to do something different, you got to do something different. So, encouragement from the people who matter the most, my mom, my father, the family members, stuff like that. Like, it's been huge for me to continue to push through, because I know where I'm going to transform to. I already can foresee that. I just don't know the exact how yet, but I can see the other side. Like, I know where I'm going, and that's going to be the biggest thing. So that's a little bit about me. That's my start. You can call it my origin. You can say the beginning, and I'll continue to post things daily so you can see what's going on and the process, and hopefully therefore it'll be a good benefit and inspiration and motivation for you to get to where you're trying to get to. So with all that, this is me, Scott Jackson, and I am gonna catch you tomorrow.